got to look back on your numbers on the other page. All it is a subtract, and you're trying to find the edges of the box, basically. 2011, what's your IQR? 11? So that's how far apart it is from the edge of the box, from here to here. It's 11. That's the spread in the score in the middle 50% of the games. Okay? So 2012, what's your IQR? 8. So we already knew that this box was a little bit smaller. It's not as far from the low end to the high end of the 50% segment there. So IQR is 8. Let's see what they're going to have us do with that. Flip the page. Well, they didn't really tell us how that helps the coach. I don't know. I guess that depends on what he's looking for.
You should count the games that he's won and lost, not the points. It's genius.
Yeah, that could, because it could be that even though he's scoring low points, he's beating out the other teams. So some of it has to do with your opponent. Okay. Another useful statistic. Get out of here. Oh, it starts with another again, huh? Oscar, would you read for us?
Okay. Another useful step is when analyzing data is to determine if there are any outliers. An outliner is a data value that is significantly greater or lesser than other data values in a data set. It is important to identify outliers because outliers can often affect the other perspective.
Thank you. And the word is outlier, like it lies outside of a certain range. An outlier is typically calculated. Isabel.
An outlier is typically calculated by multiplying the IQR by 1.5 and then determining if base values are greater or lesser than the calculated distance away from Q1 or Q2. And calculating Q1 minus IQR times 1.5 and Q3 plus IQR times 1.5. You are determining a lower and upper limit for data. Any value outside of these limits is an outlier. The value Q1 minus IQR times 1.5 is known as the lower bound, and the value Q3 plus IQR times 1.5 is known as the higher bound.
Okay, so they show you how they do that at the bottom of the page for the scores. I think it makes more sense to me looking at the picture at the top of the page over here. Here's what we're talking about. Okay, if this is your box and whisker plot, here's Q1 and here's Q3. Okay, we just figured out that you can get an IQR, which tells you how far apart those two are. Okay, now they're talking about this idea of a lower fence and an upper fence. Okay, and that's not necessarily the whiskers. This is a statistical amount based on how far apart are these guys. And it's a pretty big range there. The pretty big range, they take whatever the IQR is and they times it by something. What are they timesing it by? 1.5. So see this 1.5 here and 1.5 there. Now this looks kind of confusing, but it's Q1 minus that whatever that product is, and this is Q3 plus. And then outliers are anything to either side. So it's giving a number value to how much are numbers too far apart to statistically factor in. All right, let's take a look at our touchdown stuff. I'm at midway through 483. we call from the data set 1 touchdown the 5 number summaries. And there's our IQRs that we figured out. Use a formula to determine if there are any outliers in either data set. A, determine the upper and lower fence for each year's data set. So 2011, 2012. Upper fence,
They screwed up.
lower fence.
No.
Upper fence, lower fence. Where do you see something out of place?
In 2011, the maximum is 35, not 45.
Oh, look at that. Interesting. But everything else looks the same, including their IQR. So that's a typo. But we can fix it on our page. There we go. Okay, upper fence. We need to look at Q3, and it's bigger than Q3. Would it be better with a picture? Or would it better, yeah. Do you like, I did it kind of table form, but you might like it with a picture. Picture?
Table.
Okay. You would just want a table? Because that's what we have written down. Okay. Upper fence, you're going to take Q3, which is 28, and add the IQR. So this is Q3 plus the IQR. And then lower fence, you're going to take 17 and minus 11. In both cases, you're working with 11, that IQR. 28. Oh, I didn't do the 1.5. Okay, so 11 times 1.5. 11 times 1.5. I was testing you. There we go. Okay, so on. Here we go. Clear. 28 plus 11 times 1.5. 44.5. And lower fence, 17 minus 11 times 1.5. The 1.5 they gave us. The 11 is the IQR. This is the top end of our middle box in the box and whisker. This is the bottom end of our middle box in the box and whisker. Enter 0.5. Okay, before we even do 2012, I want to show you what we're talking about. Where's our, here's our 2 box and whiskers. All right, we were working with 2011. First of all, remember the IQR they get from looking at how far apart are the edges of our box. Second of all, now they're finding out if there are numbers way out here that we should call outliers. And so the lower fence is a certain increment lower than this edge of the box. And the upper fence is a certain increment higher than this edge of the box. And you get them by going IQR times 1.5. Okay, now we ended up with 0.5 over here and 44.5, or just 44.5 over there. Both of those numbers, that edges of the fence are way far away from the data set that we actually have. So there are no outliers in 2011. We got to figure out the same kind of thing for 2012. These guys may end up being outliers. So let's go back. All right, where we were working on 483. Again, upper fence. You look at the top number, that's the edge of the box, and it's 25. you're going to add 1.5 times the QR. Here's 8 times 1.5. Again, IQR times 1.5, and it's getting added to the upper edge of the box. I get 37. Are you with me to there? Okay, lower fence. We got to go find Q1. This is the bottom edge of our box, 17. And we're looking down less than that. That's why this is a subtract. But again, 8 times 1.5. So lower fence goes down to 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring that back over to our box and whisker. So we had, what did we have? 37? Hello? 37's right about here. What did we have for the edge of our lower fence? 5. Memo? So again, here's the lower fence. Here's the upper fence. Okay, and that's just an area on either side of the middle 50%. And what we see here is that in this case, we do have some values that are way far out. In statistics, those are called outliers. And a lot of times in statistics, if we can say that they're outliers, we can take them out. Hello? This is like, Brody, if the teacher says, everybody in the class did really bad, I'm going to take that test out of your grade. Okay? If they find an area that's just not normal, they'll a lot of times take it out of the statistics. How are they finding out what's normal? They're looking at this middle 50% and they're figuring out a range on either side. This is the lower range and this is the higher range. Okay, what do they want us to do? Identify outliers. 2011, did we have any outliers? None. 2012. Are there any numbers lower than 5?
0.
Lower equals 0. How about higher than 37? Just the 45? Okay. So 2012 had an outlier both at the low end and up at the high end. 2011, everything was more compact, nothing too far out of bounds, out of normal. Okay? Explain your reasoning. 2011, the scores closer together. Remember, if it says explain, use your brain. Think up something to say. 2012, the scores farther apart. Flip the page. Oh, we're close. Okay. Remove any outliers from the 2012 data set. If necessary, reconstruct and label the blocks and whiskers. Compare the IQR of the original data to your new calculations. All right. So first, we are doing our 0.
said it's raining. There's a whole bunch of water.
Get along, my friends. Second, I'm going to go ahead and put the 2011 Box and Whisker back on. I know they're going to want us to compare 2012, 2011. I need to flip back and forth. Sorry, that's going to make it hard to look for a minute. I had, what did I have? 10 and 35. And then I had 17, 24, and 28. We're not changing 2011 because it did not have outliers. 2012. I got to go back to the list. I think, let's see, 2012. I'm going to go back to the list. You guys don't have to do it. I'll do it right here on Stat, Edit. I'm going to clear, Enter, clear, Enter. Now, I'm going to go back and do the 2012 without the 0 and without the 45. Stat, Calc, Enter. Uh-oh, what list was I in? Second, list 1. Okay. Are you ready? Here we go. Ready, folks? Min is 7. Q1 is 17. Median's 24. Q3 is 24.5, really close. And max is 27. This is 2012 after I took out the 0 that was way over here and the 45 that was way over there. How do those teams look now?
The one on top is still better.
The one, you still like the one on top. We're supposed to compare the IQRs now, but we're running out of time. So what has happened is when we take away the blowout and the time we killed somebody and then compare the two teams, we could say those 2 days were not normal. The normal, they compare a lot closer. That's as much as we're going to be able to do today. So, calculators, books, you're working on your homework packets.